Hey, it's Central Valley Business. I'm your host, Steve Walling. My guest for this segment is Ken Percival with Belview Publishing, Belview Books.
Belview Books, yeah.
Welcome to the show, Ken.
Thanks for having me.
So, okay, what's Belview Books? Tell me about it.
It's a publisher for independent writers, anybody that's got a story to tell, and it gives them a way to market.
That's, that whole field has really kind of blown up, hasn't it, with the advent of the internet and stuff. Used to be if you wrote a book, you had like maybe 10 maximum publishers, and if they all said no, you were kind of out of luck. But nowadays, there's a lot more available to people, isn't there?
Yeah, it is. It's the publishing business is a lot of capital, a lot of marketing that's involved with it. So it's really important to be able to know what audience that you're going after, finding different ways to be able to get an independent writer noticed and recognized.
Cool. Okay, so I'm a young guy, and I've just written this really fantastic book, and I watched this here, and I saw you, Belview Books. I say, okay, I want to get a hold of Ken. What is my experience from the time I get a hold of Ken? What happens?
Yeah, so it starts with looking at the content, what the material is, and putting it into an editing process. And a lot of it is that when somebody that's producing an independent work, it's their story. And so looking into a marketplace where you have traditional authors, there's a lot of sculpting and molding that goes on. And so
I'm going to interrupt you here because you said something. The editing process. Do you provide an editing process when someone comes to you?
Yes. So with the book process itself, it's important to recognize that the story that an independent writer has is going to have a particular trajectory to it.
Right.
And so it's going to be really important to let them have that creative content for it. And so there's editing that can be done, but it's really, I think, the value added for it for the writer is the ability to get it formatted into an ebook, to be able to get it into a paper book format.
Okay, so we go through the editing, and then what happens now? What's the next stage in the process?
It's putting together the cover for it, the marketing aspect of it, so that we can get it in front of different people, whether it's identifying that there's book clubs, if it's something that
if
you
it
want to
fits
be able
in a certain genre, like home cooking versus being a cowboy or something like that.
Right.
Okay, so then you target it towards that particular market, right?
Yeah, it's aimed at a lot as to what that independent writer wants to accomplish.
Okay.
Because some folks just simply want to be able to have something that is maybe their life's work. And
I'm an author. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so it's really aimed at what it is that they want to accomplish.
Ken, it sounds like you really give the authors that work with you a lot of input and control in this whole process too.
Yeah, there is, that's what it's meant to be. It allows them to have their voice, to speak, and to put across the material that they want to put across. From a publishing standpoint, the industry, it really looks at being able to turn and make a profit on it. And so Belview Books is not necessarily about getting that person to be a best-selling author. It's simply being able to allow them to accomplish their dream.
Okay, so let's say that we get to that point and we now have a published book and it's beginning to sell. What happens then? Let's say all of a sudden there's maybe more of an audience there than what we thought. Where does it go then?
Well, you bring in a good point to it, because when you think about storytelling is like that very first step in intellectual property. Right. Getting a copyright on material is that basis for everything else. And so by being able to get something to have an ISBN number, a book number established for it, it starts to lay the groundwork for that person to have something of value.
Cool. How long have you been doing this?
It's been a long time. I started out in publishing and source, working with tech companies, and then moved along from there.
You like it?
It is. It's a lot of fun.
I bet you meet a lot of interesting people, don't you?
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting place to be at.
So I'm an interesting person. I got a great story. How the heck do I get a hold of you?
Yeah, so through BelviewBooks.com.
Okay.
And it'll route you right out through.
Okay. Do you got a Facebook page or anything?
Yep. It'll take out to a Facebook page at facebook.com Belview Books.
Okay. Really good. That's exciting.
Thanks.
I got a couple books in the back of my. We'll talk later. Thanks for being on the show, Ken. It's a great service you author. You know, I have people on the show from time to time that are authors, and it's like their only book, their first book, and you can tell they don't know how to work through the process. So
yeah, definitely, get them out to BelleviewBooks.com.
There you go. All right, thanks again.
Okay, thanks.
All right, BelleviewBooks.com. We'll see you when we come back.
What is the art of story? It's the connection between culture and heritage.